Hello, Liberty Park students. Errol Owl here again to continue our lesson on searching for books you want in the Liberty Park Library using Destiny. Let's get started. If you recall from your last session, you'll go to destiny.warren.k12.in.us, click Enter. From here, you'll find Liberty Park Elementary, and you'll come to the home screen. Now from here, you do not need to log in to get access to the catalog. The home tab has some resources on it that you can go to, and then you'll go to the catalog tab to do your searching. Now our last training session, we learned about the first item, which is the library search, and we learned about the basic tab and the visual tab on how to search for books. Today we're going to do the next item down called Destiny Quest. Destiny Quest is really an awesome application that you'll enjoy using. You can actually search just like you did the last training session, very similar, but it actually narrows it down even more. From here, I would recommend that you do log in. You notice it says hello guest here, but you can log in and you use your same username and password that you use on your Chromebooks or the computers in the labs. So you use the same login here. Then from here, it will look familiar. So if you find something that you're looking for, so dogs are always a good choice. So let's type in dogs, and I'm going to press go or enter, and it will load in all the books at the Liberty Park Library and actually even in Warren Township that are about dogs. So there are 1,477 books about dogs. That's a lot of books about dogs to go through. So let's say you want to just narrow your search. So you can narrow your search by any of these options. And you can go through these, but I'm just going to go through one of them. So let's just say you want to narrow it to your interest level. And it defaults from preschool all the way up to adult. So let's say I'm going to go up to kindergarten, and then we'll do it a little bit higher, maybe grade 5, and then say apply. So these books can be looked at from kindergarten to grade 5 in an interest level. That age of a student will find these books interesting. And you notice it went down to 817. Still a lot, but better than over 1,000. Then from here, so you can even do it even farther to get it even more narrow. But for our training, let's just continue on. Now, I wanted to tell you about something called a wish list. It's called a personal list, or it can be called a wish list too. These are the titles that you'll save that will allow you to be able to find titles when you visit the library with your classes. So let's say I'm looking up here, and this one's in, so it's on the shelf, and this one is out. Now, just because it's out doesn't mean it might be there. It might be there the next time I come. It's just someone has it checked out right now, and they'll return it the next time they come to the library. So we can add that one to our wish list too. And so how you do that is you just drag and drop, just like it says over here, drag and drop. So I click, hold, and drag and drop over here. And you notice that the Magic Treehouse is over here in the titles. It says one title. Now let's say this one's out, but I want to see what it's about. So I can click on this, and it gives a description of what this book is about. And it talks about photographs and illustrations. It sounds like a picture book. So I look over here, and sure enough, it is a picture book because it has the E for easy. And then I will look for the author's last name of D. So these are the short stacks, the E section, and under the D's for the author's last name. Now from here, if this does look interesting, then I can add it. Not only can I drag and drop it, but I can also just say add it to the list. So it's in my list now. Even though it's checked out, it's still in my list. And I can check right before I go to the library. I can check and see whether it's in or out. So I can look over here and say, okay, that one's still out, so it's not going to be on the shelf, but this one's in. So I can look over here and say, oh, that's the fiction section. That's the tall stacks with the author's last name of O. So I can find those. Okay, so that's how you can do a general search item. So let's go back to Destiny Quest, and I wanted to tell you about these sections in here. So this first section is the top 10 books at Liberty Park, which is really neat because it's very dynamic. It changes all the time depending on what books are being checked out. For example, when I'm doing this training session right now, the number 1 book is Baby Mouse. So Baby Mouse is the #1 book. The #2 book, of course, The Diary of a Wimpy Kid is popular series here at Liberty Park. So when I'm looking at this, I can say, okay, well, it's checked out, but I still want to maybe take a look when I come. So I can drag and drop, and then I'll remember that title when I come to the library next time with my class. I can find that. So I can go down, that one's out, that one's out. The Harry Potter book, that one's out. Oh, but there's the 39 Clues, that one's in. Or Winn-Dixie, that one's in. So I can click on this and see what it's about. If it seems interesting, I can say, okay, well, it's in the fiction section with the author's last name of D. So I can add it to the list. Okay, so after I've gone through this, I can check my titles. And if you notice, these are the ones we were just talking about. And I can look at these and say, okay, I know where these are at. Now, this one's a little bit different. If you remember from the last training session, the 741s are the graphic novels or like the comic strip areas. Those I have pulled, and they're over by the windows all together, by the big stacks, but by the windows up against the wall, along with the 39 Clues also. 39 Clues, since they're by all different authors. Remember, those are pulled too. Just a reminder, those are the exceptions. But everything else, and if you notice, I can click there, or I can also click here. Goes the same spot. But other than the exceptions of the graphic novels and some other things, everything else should be, this is the fiction section, and the picture book, the easy section. So that's how to use the wish list. So then when I am going to come to the library, I have options. You'll want to have more than one option, because sometimes you put a book in your wish list and it's in, but then when you go to the library, somebody checked it out. So you want to have at least maybe 3 or 4 titles in there. Last section over here, new arrivals. Now, these are kind of neat too, because you can see what new books have been added just recently. Now, just because it has new titles doesn't mean that it's actually new. Sometimes it happens where a book has been damaged and then it's pulled from the shelf, and then we fix it and then it goes back on the shelf. And that's what happened with this book, the Guinness Book of World Records 2010. We know it's not 2010 right now, but this book was damaged and we just got it repaired and just back on the shelf. So even though it says it's a new arrival, it is new, it's back on the shelf, but it is an old title. But the rest of these are new titles. So I can see, like, this one was just added. I can click on that, look at the picture, and it's like, that looks really interesting, and read what it's about. And then I can see it's under fiction, under the author A, and then if it looks interesting, I can add it to the list. So then when you are ready to come to the library with your class, you can click on these titles, and you can maybe even jot down on a piece of paper that you want to go to the fiction section under D, you want to go to the fiction section under O, the fiction section under A, and the picture book, the easy section under D, and you want to go up against the wall for the graphic novels. So you can almost get like a roadmap of where you want to go to the library, so you can have the most efficient use of your time and you know exactly where you want to go. All right, well, that's it for today. Happy searching and enjoy your Liberty Park Library.